Finally, something to get excited about. The A's make a splash in the free agent market and sign Luis Severino today on this emergency episode of Locked On A's.
You are Locked On A's, your daily Oakland A's podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On A's, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. I am your host, Booney, one name. Episodes will drop Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. That's Oakland, Vegas, and yes, Sacramento time. Whether you are on your way to work, driving back from work, or listening casually during the day, thank you for making Locked On A's your first listen of the day. I'm from the Bay Area, and I've been a diehard A's fan since '81. I'm here to bring you a real fans take, covering everything from Oakland to Sacramento to Las Vegas. This is the place for A's fans to get the latest game breakdown, team news, and more. This is where the passion of the fans take center stage. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. And please hit that subscribe button wherever you are following the show. Today's episode is brought to you in part by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time! Man, I got a little pep in my step today for this emergency episode, and I haven't been this excited about the A's in a long time. Let me tell you how miserable this offseason has been for me. My happiness when talking about the A's is reliving the month of July this past season, which is what I am going to do tomorrow when I cover the A's fourth series of the year against the Philadelphia Phillies. But that's tomorrow. Today, I get to feel like a normal baseball fan, even if it's just for today. I can care less about the stadium meeting that is happening later on today. All the A's haters, I don't mind you so much today. You guys are great. The A's signed Luis Severino. And you may ask, why are you so excited about Luis Severino? I will tell you why. Because Luis Severino is the A's version of Juan Soto. That's why I'm so excited. I am jacked, beyond jacked. I may hop in my car right now and pick up old Luis at the Sacramento airport and show him around old Sacktown. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Yes, this one caught me by surprise, and it might even rattle the rest of the baseball world as well. The A's pulled off the unthinkable, a big money, multi-year contract for a starting pitcher. And it's just not any contract. It's 3 years, $67 million. A team that's been at the bottom of payrolls, a team playing in a minor league stadium for the next few years, just signed one of the most prominent free agent pitchers on the market. In my opinion, your opinion may differ. A contract like this for a team that's been in limbo for years speaks volumes about where the A's are heading. So let's break it down and talk about the implications for the A's, Severino, and what this all means in the grand scheme of things. So let's start with the specifics of the deal. Severino, 31-year-old right-hander, just agreed to a 3-year, $67 million contract with the A's, which includes a $10 million signing bonus and $57 million in salary over the next 3 years. But here's the kicker. There's an opt-out after the second year. So if Severino has a couple big years, he could potentially hit free agency again at 33 years old, which gives him some flexibility. That opt out is crucial, especially for a pitcher who's shown flashes of brilliance, but also he's dealt with some injuries. But even more surprising is the amount of money involved. This deal is the largest in franchise history, surpassing the 6-year, $66 million extension that Eric Chavez signed back in 2004. So it's a bold statement from the A's. They're clearly ramping up their financial commitment to the future, even as they prepare for their move to Las Vegas. And for a team like the A's, known for their frugality, this feels like a monumental shift. The A's have been hesitant to spend big in recent years, but this signing could signal that they are ready to break from that mold, at least for now, especially with that 100 million payroll target floating around for next season. Let's talk about the bigger picture here. The Athletics are still in transition, moving from Oakland to Las Vegas, and they'll be playing in a minor league stadium in Sacramento for at least the next few seasons. Not exactly an ideal setup for attracting top tier free agents. That's been one of the main reasons we have seen players pass on the A's in recent years. Players like Walker Buehler, who have flat out rejected the idea of playing in a minor league ballpark. Hey, Buehler, maybe a good idea to get an offer before you just flat out reject us. And we know the A's haven't had a lot to offer in terms of immediate championship contention. So, what does this Severino deal tell us? It suggests the A's are willing to go all in on a temporary high risk move to shore up their future, especially with that Vegas move looming. This is a team that's been at rock bottom payrolls for so long, but now they're making a splash in the free agent market. They've clearly identified pitching as a priority, and understandably so. Given their current situation with their starting rotation, Severino, even after his injury struggles, brings experience, pedigree, and upside to a rotation otherwise wouldn't scare anyone. Let's dive into Severino himself. After a couple injury-plagued seasons, including Tommy John surgery, Severino had a solid 2023 with the Mets. He threw 182 innings, posted a 3.91 ERA, and struck out 161 batters. That's a solid contribution from a guy who was once a top 3 Cy Young finisher in 2017. And let's not forget his all-star seasons in 2017 and 2018 with the Yankees. Severino still has electric stuff. His fastball ranks among the hardest in the league, and his slider is just filthy. If he can stay healthy, he could be the ace the A's have desperately needed. And an incredible 1-2 punch with JP Sears. It is almost a certainty that it will be either JP Sears or Severino as our opening day starter this year in Seattle. And when you look at the rest of the rotation, Severino is an instant upgrade. Right now, they have JP Sears, Mitch Spence, and Joey Estes penciled in. There's still room for another addition. And this move could free up front office to pursue another starter in the coming months. If Severino can have a bounce back to his former self, he's a guy who can stabilize the A's rotation for a few years. Even if they don't make a massive move for another top tier arm, this deal gives them some breathing room. And if Severino excels, they could flip him for prospects at the trade deadline, which would even give them more flexibility. So what does this mean for the A's future? Okay, so we've covered the deal itself, but let's talk about the long-term picture. Severino is a great signing, but the A's need more than just one solid starter. This is a team with a long rebuild ahead of them. And while they're Spending now, how sustainable is this? They will need to continue to rebuild around their core guys, like your Tyler Soderstroms, your Zach Geloffs, your Brett Rookers, your Lawrence Butlers. The A's also still have a lot of work to do in terms of their minor league system. And that Vegas relocation could create some excitement that helps with fan engagement and attracting future talent. But the move to Las Vegas is a big gamble, as we know. Will they be able to create a competitive environment in a new market while dealing with the challenges of a new stadium and fan base? We don't know. But this Severino signing, combined with their target payroll, suggests they're hoping to make a splash in both the short and long term. In the end, this is a fascinating move. It's not just a surprising signing because of the money, it's a sign of a franchise trying to change its narrative. The A's are telling us they're not willing to go quietly into the night while they transition to Las Vegas. They are trying to compete now. And if Severino can stay healthy, he might be the cornerstone they need to take that next step. And while the A's still have a long road ahead of them, this deal shows they are at least trying to play the game differently. The ball is in their court now. How will they use this momentum to make further improvements? That's a question we'll be watching in the coming months. But for right now, Luis Severino is someone I'm high on, excited about, and someone we dearly needed to help with that starting rotation. Thanks for tuning in.